Charlie Kirk show. You could call this Diet Kirk because it's Charlie free after his untimely demise. Taken from us far too young, of course. You got to hand it to Charlie, even. He had the juice, and that was part of what made him valuable to the right, annoying for the left, and anyone that wanted their human rights that he was arguing they shouldn't have. And it was, his special skill. He was one of the guys that had this special skill of just yapping and having people listen. They can't trot around his corpse. And I'm just going to show you the views on this video beforehand. This is the Charlie Kirk show. 9 hours ago this came out. 20,000 views. Pretty good for a small channel. Pretty bad. Like, if my video did 20,000 in 9 hours on YouTube with my 40K subscriber channel, I'd be pretty fucking happy about that, right? Charlie Kirk with 5.64 million subscribers. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares anymore. It's just like, they're sympathy clips. The only time this channel now gets clicks and traffic is when they're bringing up Charlie's death and specifically, spooky stuff about it. Ooh, what if this happened? The Candace Owens controversy is keeping it alive a little. Prepare yourselves for the charisma vampires that are now sucking the juice, every last bit of juice out of Charlie Kirk's husk as they try desperately to keep this show alive, even though it's inevitably going to just fail.
All right, happy Monday. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. I'm Andrew Colvett, executive producer of this show, joined, as always, by Blake Neff.
Yes, he died, but some deaths are funny.
To my left, the TV doesn't know which side you're on.
Have you guys ever seen The Death and Return of Superman? It was a video game. I bring this up sometimes because it was formative to my childhood. So in The Death and Return of Superman, Superman dies. There he is, dying. Doomsday kills him. Spoilers for the 90s. And in his place, what you have are a bunch of imposter Supermen that look very similar to him, but do not have the juice that Superman did. And so none of them, of course, can replace old Clarky, and eventually it turns out he's not dead. He's the Yellow Sun. So don't bury him in the ground. This is very much like a shitty sort of like, Charlie Kirk died, I'm Gnarly Burke coming out. Gnarly Burke put on Charlie Kirk's literal clothes. He went into his fucking closet and started, you ever seen Brokeback Mountain? And at the end, it crushes me every time. Great movie. It's like the end of that where he smells the shirt, except worse and Nazis.
And today I'm very excited and honored to have two great Americans, great patriots, truly important thinkers, and they've
probably like Teddy Roosevelt and I don't know who's another, Cormac McCarthy.
Done
two great Americans. Oh no, just these guys. Who the fuck are these guys? You know what? Just to compliment them because they don't have what Charlie had, but I will say, and maybe part of this was Charlie's sauce, and here he is, of course. The fucking looming Trump is crazy. You know what they have that Charlie didn't, though? And it's like really their only point in their favor is proportional faces. They have faces that look sized to their skulls. So that's good for all four of them. That's a 4 for 4. You can take that to the bank. That's what we call the fundamentals. They may not have the flash. They may not have, the dazzle that Charlie Kirk did, but they have a baseline. Their faces are normal sized.
Work for this country at the Federalist, which we'll talk about, and that is, of course, Molly Hemingway, the editor-in-chief of the Federalist, and Sean Davis, who is the founder and CEO. So welcome to the show. We're honored to have you.
So they have these ugly hats here. I'm looking at whatever this is, and I'm not going to lie to you, because these hats, the way they're colored and the way this is, like, for some reason, it's just the scene is giving me Subway hat and then a crumpled up like Subway wrapper from like a chicken teriyaki sandwich he didn't finish. I don't know what it is. I don't think I'm right at all. But this is like a napkin. Yeah. The avant-garde panache. Yeah. Charlie had some panache, you could say.
It is wonderful to be here.
Honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna figure out what this fucking thing is.
I think that's where we should start, is that you guys...
Great. You know what I'm going to do just for everyone's benefit? I'm going to kick this into overdrive. We're just going to hit this at 2 times speed. I don't know what the hell they're going to say. It's not even really about that for me. It's just to show you like where the show is gone, how little juice is left in this, and like the reason that a lot of these people are freaking out and the reason that they're trying to keep this alive is because this guy has no fucking talents elsewhere. This guy's got nothing else to do. He needed Charlie. They were all sucking on Charlie's titties to stay alive, and now his titties are dry.
Honored us. You honored Charlie. You made the trek out here to be with us on set. And I know it was no small task because you came out for the memorial. You came out again for this. And I think that speaks volumes about who you guys are and what you believe and what you care about. So, I mean, I guess the floor is yours. Tell us, from your perspective, what this last almost month, I can't believe we're getting close to that, about 4 days shy of a month, what it's meant to you, what it's meant to the country, what you're seeing, thinking, feeling.
Well, I'll be honest,
Yeah. By the way, did I tell you the title of this? Did I even say the title of this? Charlie Kirk is the first true Christian American martyr. That's what we'll be talking about today.
I think probably in shock about everything.
All right, I have to turn her up. They didn't give her enough juice in her mic at all. They want sainthood so bad for Charlie? Saint Kirk? That'd be hilarious. Nothing better to put on the face of the Christian church than a out loud and outspoken devout white supremacist. Fuck yeah, dude.
That happened. I haven't really been able to accept the reality of it. Each day I wake up and I just, it seems not real. And I don't know when it is going to seem real. But the first week, 2 weeks in particular, were just incredibly difficult. We have been writing about what's happening in the country. We've been writing about left-wing violence, intolerance, how they're positioning themselves into killing people who they disagree with.
Yeah, the left-wing violence. They're just going to keep saying like, oh, look at the left-wing violence. This is classic playbook stuff from fascists, right? They kill you, they kill you, they kill you, they kill you. One of their people dies. Not even the left does it. Oh, look at the violent left. It was a fucking Mormon kid. Shut up. He came from a fucking right-wing gun family. That's not a leftist-ass kid, bro. It's just so mind-numbing. They just have to lie. They shouldn't be able to, though.
It's entirely another thing to have it happen to someone that you know and love and to realize that we are in such a bad situation. Now, having said that, it's also been really inspiring to see how many people take this seriously, how concerned they are about the country, how much they're inspired by what Charlie did in taking these debates to people and winning these debates and caring about the country. So it's just still a tangle of emotions for me.
Yeah, I've been kind of a raw mess for a couple weeks now. I've had a little time to kind of think through like the societal implications, the political implications, and it was interesting. You know, he was killed on September 10th. So we were just getting ready to commemorate the 24th anniversary of 9/11. And
everyone has moved on. Let's be real. Donald Trump moved the fuck on that day. He was like, look at the buildings. Look at the... We just put in this new fucking thing. I'm paying people to do stuff. Way more interested in that.
You look at all the things that happened after that. We kind of ushered in the era of the techno-surveillance state. We had a whole bunch of wars we fought to little effect. And it dawned on me in the last week that we went from living in a post-9/11 society, which is what it's been like for the last 25 years, and I think now we're absolutely in a post-Charlie Kirk period. We are
9/11, Charlie Kirk. Comparable. Did any of the people that died in 9/11 have a podcast? No. Why would we give a fuck about them? 3,000 people or one Charlie Kirk, who is, of course, more valuable than just a normal people. Charlie Kirk is nearly 3,000 people. No, he's well over 3,000 people important, obviously.
Now in the age of American martyrdom. Charlie was the first true American Christian martyr. Everything he believed politically was based on his faith. The debate that he was having at the moment...
Everything he believed politically was based on his faith? You couldn't make a better argument against Christianity than that right there. Holy shit. Hey, if you believe in this dumb shit, you're going to turn into a dumb shit person. That's crazy. No way. I can't believe these 2,000-year-old opinions don't hold up to the test of modern time. You fuck Joseph Smith. Well, no, he was a fucking Mormon. They do not count him.
He was killed with something that's foundational. Who made you? How were you made? And so the fact that he was killed the way he was while doing what he was doing, he is the first American Christian martyr. And I remember...
I just disagree that he was the first American Christian martyr. John Brown comes to mind. John Brown was out here doing the damn thing with his whole chest and both fucking fists with his Christian faith in mind, which I disagreed with for sure. But still, he went out there and walked the walk. That guy was literally having babies so that he could make a militia and take down the slavery state. That's crazy. That's a 25-year plus plan.
I remember talking to a pastor friend years ago. This might have been 10 or 15 years ago. And we were talking about how the country was changing, how faith was coming under fire. And he said, I worry that we're now in an age where instead of having to teach our children how to live for Christ, we're going to have to teach them how to die for Christ. And
oh, no. A lot of tautologies here. Instead of having to live for Christ, we've got to teach them how to die for Christ. Wow. Do you like listen to how the Christians talk? We have to prepare our kids to die for Christ. Listen to them. Do you think that is maybe some psychotic shit we should address as a society? Maybe we shouldn't let the blood cultists be prominent members of society. Maybe they should be maligned for their blood cultist rituals, their worship of death and destruction and pain. Maybe this is bad.
Charlie really is the first true, big, major example of that, and I think we're going to be wrestling with the implications and the consequences of that for decades.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a whole-ass Christian who was literally martyred for his political opinions. To pretend that Charlie Kirk is even close to as relevant is ridiculous.
Blake, you've known Molly and Sean for a long time back when you worked at Fox in Washington. I said, when was the last time you saw Molly? And you were like, oh, I ran into her at the memorial.
I was trying to get my friends in. It was amazing how well everything worked in the end. Yeah. But I remember I was figuring that out, so I had to borrow a staff badge and all of that.
But in a sea of hundreds of thousands of people, we just happened to run.
A good connection with Molly here is, when I first got the offer to work with Charlie, I actually wasn't that familiar with what he was doing, and so one of the contacts I had was Molly, and so I had a text message exchange with her where I just say, "What do you have any strong feelings about Charlie Kirk?" And I remember her response was, "I don't really know him that well either, but everything I've seen has been really impressive."
Yeah, and then you became a regular on the show. You would do call-ins, and Sean, you did too. And Charlie always had tremendous amount of respect for what you guys do with the Federalist, and your TV and your media appearances. And I just want to echo what you were saying, that Charlie is a martyr. And
I think that these two are trying to get jobs at the Federalist. This is disgusting. Yeah, it just seems like, hey, just so you know, I want you to know that I'm sucking your dick, and while we're sucking Charlie's dead dick and his titties, to make sure that we still have any of the clout possible from this guy's corpse. Like, if you're a Charlie Kirk fan, this should make you sick, man. If it doesn't, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Probably you were a Charlie Kirk fan. You don't have any humanity whatsoever. There are vultures picking at his fucking body, man. I do not understand how you can support this. When you see one of your own get fucking clipped in a red open carry state at one of his events by some of the very people he's supposed to be talking to, like, I don't know, dude.
A Christian martyr, and everything after the fact became so clear to me. And I said this in my speech at the memorial, like, he was a modern prophet. He was calling us to repent. He was calling our nation to repent.
He was a modern prophet. Charlie Kirk's wife doesn't even seem to give a shit. She is trying to fake it until she makes it through this scenario.
We called them campus tours, but they were really tent revivals, complete with a tent. And the people flocked to hear him preach.
So I'm not sure if everybody realizes this, because they might know him from the early days where they were watching these clips of him engaging with college students. But his emphasis on Jesus and the Word of God really grew each year.
Yes,
and so when you're seeing the last few years, the heart that he has for people when they're bringing, it might be packaged in a left-wing political question, but he would see that this person was in need of Jesus. And so when people think about him as this political campus guy, I think they're missing it.
Dude, Christians love to say that, like, there's virtue in saying y'all need Jesus. Like, what the fuck do you even think this is accomplishing? You need Jesus. Oh, he's so virtuous. No, he's a fucking cunt. Like, shut up. You need to read a book.
I'm Lutheran, and my church in D.C., we held a service the Friday after he was killed to commemorate him as a martyr. And this, like, to Sean's point, this is not something we
Jesus Christ.
do. And we have a mixed political congregation, but our pastors were explaining, this guy was killed for his beliefs. He always explained the basis of his beliefs. And I think people have a confusion about martyrdom. Like, they think they'll hear stories from days of old, and they'll think it's like this purely religious situation with no political context. But of course, martyrs are usually killed because they're running up against political regimes with what they're having to say. And
okay, Martin Luther King? John Brown? Nah, just Charlie Kirk. Good old Chirk, for
to
short.
Sean's point about being prepared to die, and when we take our confirmation vows,
He was not prepared to fucking die. You shut the fuck up. Why are you pretending that this man was in fucking glorious battle and went to Valhalla? This guy was blaming gun violence on gangs when he was shot by a white boy. You cannot make this up. Like, come on.
we say, will you suffer all up to and including death before you renounce this? And everybody, of course, says, yes, we will. But I mean, in recent years, it's been that realization like, oh, that might not be so theoretical.
Yeah, if you read the historical accounts of martyrs, one of the most...
It might not be so theoretical. So now they're pretending that he was killed for being a Christian? One of Charlie Kirk's fans, one of the guys that love these two people right here, and probably these guys too, just killed 2 children, 2 girls, ran them down with his vehicle. You had another Charlie Kirk fan go out and kill a bunch of Mormons because he blamed them in Michigan. Shot up that church, burn it down. Charlie Kirk fans. A right-wing freak, a neo-Nazi, that liked Charlie Kirk. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot up a school.
Common ones in the Roman Empire is they would refuse to make sacrifices to the imperial cult. So that's usually what the demand was, that you can do your own thing, but you also have to show up, participate in these religious rituals honoring the emperor as a god or whatever. And they wouldn't do that, and so
You're literally doing that with the Trump shit all the time. Why are you pretending that you're not cucks for the same shit?
would be persecuted and sometimes killed. And we would sometimes talk about what's sort of the modern religion in America, and it would often
MAGA
be that sacralized LGBT thing. And so you could really make that direct comparison.
Of course, it's the LGBT thing. Yeah. He died for the LGBT thing, not because a kid had a gun, fucking hunting rifle. It wasn't the gun. It was an unrelated movement that he didn't have part in.
Was debating the trans issue specifically. Do we sacralize this metaphysical claim about transgender stuff? And he would refuse to do so on religious grounds and moral ones. And that is what he was talking about when he was killed.
He would refuse to do so on religious grounds. Guns were somehow unrelated in the gun death.
And that's what it appears the assassin was motivated by, the alleged assassin.
Well, that's why the memorial was so powerful. I remember.
Oh, so they're just lying about the assassin, I guess. The shooter, calling him the assassin because he got away for a minute.
We were overseas when we got the news, and I remember just getting on my knees and begging God, almost thinking I could outsmart God. God, save him so that his life will glorify you.
Yeah, I mean, you have a child's brain. Listen to him, how he talks about it. What if I just go directly into bargaining with the figment of my imagination? Surely that'll be effective. You have like a baby brain, CEO of the Federalist. These are the people that fucking run society. We should not allow this religion to be just like normalized in society. I mean, it really, I'm serious. This should come with a social stigma. Like, these people cannot be trusted with their reason. They are not capable of having reasonable thoughts about anything. It affects it's their fucking core belief. From this misinformed, incorrect position, everything else comes out. It's just sick.
I got it here. And then God answered, no, wait till I see how his death will glorify me. And to witness the amazing power of Christian martyrdom, I mean, I wish it hadn't happened. Or I wish it hadn't happened. But to see the fires being...
Listen to him. I wish it hadn't happened. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he fucking does. Look, they sold tickets to his funeral. Or his wake, I guess. It's so sick.
Lit because of the power of his faith and the power of everyone else's faith was truly, truly remarkable. We've never witnessed anything like that in this country.
Yeah, for some reason, you guys describing it as you have, it's like, it's also still so fresh. It's funny because I've seen these comments online, they'll be like, why are you smiling on this? And I'm like, shut up. Like, please. Like, you don't see the quiet moments. You don't see, like, alone in your hotel room or mourning. And, even just as you talk about this, and I hate to say we've got a break in about 10 seconds, but it's like, it just does hit you in waves, and it really is not linear. And hearing you guys talk about it just brought it all back. So
we had to do an ad break right there. I'm glad they cut it.
We are going to get to the news. We have a whole rundown of the news, but we just, when we have guests that come from out of town, it's important to talk about the big stuff first. And I think, the big stuff first really is that Charlie is a man of faith and was a man of faith, and his faith endures. His faith is ignited across the country in his death. And I feel it. It's funny. My mom, God bless her, I always bring up my mom and people always clip these parts, but she really was loving, the things I was saying, I think, but she was like, I think my first Fox hit, I was just like, I said something like, repent and be saved. Like, that's how you honor Charlie. And my mom was like, maybe a little less preachy on network news. And I was like, Mom, I love you, but no. And then she's like, you look tired.
Like, if we're not going to preach at this time.
Christians are freaks. They're freaks. Listen to them. Repent and be saved, bro. It means nothing. It's a virtue signal. It means nothing. You don't have to change your behavior. You don't have to make any amends with anyone you've wronged. You don't have to look critically at yourself or the world. You just have to say, I'm forgiven for whatever the fuck I do. And then you are, right? These Christians will just be like, yeah, I mean, do whatever. You're one of us. It's so sick.
When are you going to?
When I listened to a podcast you did, and it was so funny to me because you were like, well, I'm Lutheran. We don't do that.
I can just imagine the shit-eating grin on all these freaks' faces when they heard Kirk died, and their first thought was, oh, we can use this. Well, it was two things, right? Like, they're going to use it. The first thing's panic, like, oh, fuck, he's my meal ticket. The second thing is, oh, well, we can monetize his death and, like, make a lump sum now, because down the road, who fucking knows? And they're going to try. They're going to say, look, Charlie died. Don't you want to be part of this? And it's just going to slowly fail, like the Daily Wire, everything else.
These kinds of worship songs, but I loved it anyways, and it was so beautiful. And I was like, all right, so when she comes on, I have to play like one of these like moments that was just so powerful, and then maybe we move on after that or get your reaction. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Please play cut 30.
I know it's not much, but nothing else.
What am I hearing? Is that Jared Leto?
One more time. So I throw up my head.
Who the fuck is that? I don't think it's Benson Boone, but it might be one of his clones.
Praise you again and again.
I'll be here again and again.
That's what he sounds like.
Oh, praise Jesus.
All that I have is
Praise Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somewhat used to these songs and this style of worship, but it struck me when I heard you talk.
Okay, but this guy's on the same speed. Like, I don't know how. Why is it so squirrely?
Now, meanwhile, there's more. You wanna get more in this shit.
I don't really watch that show.
Pretty sure that's more meanwhile, though.
And you got it more nasally.
How is this doing?
It's like a little different, you know?
About it, that a lot of people probably weren't, and this was
My boy Jesus.
a somewhat new experience for them.
Right. So in our church, we do liturgical worship, psalms. We have great hymnody, and I love that. So when I walked in and it was praise music, I was like, oh, okay. And by hour 8 or whatever, I was right there singing along with everybody.
What I truthfully didn't
By hour 8, it took you 8 hours to enjoy a concert?
know until I went to this was how hypnotic it is, I guess. They'll just sort of sing the chorus repeatedly so that everyone will get whipped up into it and then they can easily sing along.
Yeah.
I'm more used to, verse, chorus,
Yeah,
singing stuff.
Exactly.
So I just, it was different from what I ever had thought how it worked.
And
It's fascinating to describe it as hypnotic because that's exactly what it is. Any religious experience that these people describe, you can get the same thing at a good concert or whatever. Like it's just a psychological thing that humans go through when they're feeling something, when they're doing something together in unison. It can be trance-like. You could maybe even a little dissociative.
to be there with so many people doing that though too was also great. I mean, and to hear the people speaking and having cabinet secretaries speak very clearly about the gospel was something. Usually when a Republican or Democrat politician gets up, they say, "Oh, in my faith tradition, we believe in a God who loves people," and it's just so it's like, well, that's true, but you could say so much more. And have Marco Rubio out there clearly professing the gospel was a really cool experience and in an appropriate way because even though he is a politician, this was a memorial service for a Christian.
Yeah.
Sick stuff. Super sick stuff, in my opinion.
Anything to add to that, Sean?
Yeah, something about seeing
Christian countries don't have a death wall. True. God, I didn't think about that. That's trash. At Atheist Church, we'll have a death wall, okay?
most powerful people on earth proclaim the gospel is amazing. Because you think back to Paul in Acts, who understood he was going to be martyred, but on the way he was going to be sent to Caesar. I think he ended up getting
You're calling him like a disciple of Jesus right now?
sent to him twice, arrested twice. The purpose of which was to testify about the power of Christ to the most powerful man on earth at the time. And then so in this instance, we saw Charlie cut down way too early, and the result was the most powerful men, potentially in the history of the world, proclaiming the saving power of Jesus Christ.
In front of other powerful men, Sean and I kept praying for Elon while we were there.
Oh yeah, the whole time. I was like,
We hope Elon's listening.
come on, God, get Elon. You know,
I know. And then he said, like, forgive us our trespasses. He tweeted that, or posted that on X.
He retweeted Erica telling people to go to church.
Yeah.
Wow. Elon. The wide-eyed stare. Look at... He's just like, oh my God, Elon Musk. Whoa, Elon. The worship. They worship these people. Look at how they... So it rewires your brain to, like, make virtue of hierarchy. To say, oh, he's rich. That's a good man. A powerful man. Ah, yes. Only if the elite group that you already worship tells you someone is bad will you believe it. The person who commands them now is Donald Trump. They're going to go into... Can you imagine? She might tear her actual fucking hair out. Like, for real. Like, biblical style. Tear her hair out and rip her sackcloth off and, like, wallow in the streets in sadness when Trump dies. These people are sick.
Or re-exed, whatever.
Reposted, I think is the proper. Yeah, a couple emails here from listeners. Aaron, how to move forward. He says, greetings. My emotions are all over the place. Same. Anger and grief over Charlie Kirk being killed. Please teach the audience how to move forward. How?
I think it's kind of clear what we do. I mean, first and foremost, we're talking about Jesus right now because it matters. And so
Talk about Jesus. It'll help. Just say Jesus will do it and problem solved, bro.
Going to church, being active in your church. But also, for me, I found everything happening here very inspirational. I had been feeling a little tired in my work. We've been doing so much to battle corporate media and the left and even weak Republicans. And when this happened, it just made me realize the importance of what we're doing. It gave me courage to keep going. Everyone can keep doing that, whether it's in your personal conversation.
This is just the motivation I needed. Thank you, Charlie, for literally dying to make sure that I'm not burnt out at work. What a high praise.
amazing audience. If you want to chime in and be a part of the show, freedom@charliekirk.com. Just send us an email.
Freedom!
We'll be checking them as the show goes on. In Charlie's honor. Charlie's the one that taught us to do that, and he would often...
Freedom@charliekirk.com. What kind of freedom, you ask? The freedom to be a white Christian landowning man. And if you're not that, well, you should not have the freedom to not be that, of course. If you don't want to or are not just naturally a white landowning Christian man, well, then you've got problems, buddy. What the fuck is wrong with you? Conform immediately to my white Christian man landowning lifestyle, or of course be a subservient class, but be quiet while you're doing your service to me. Because of course I am inherently better. God, 6 months from now, what is this even going to be? They're going to announce the Charlie Kirk show has been sold to the Daily Wire. You know, oh, we're trimming down some of our programming and focusing on this one thing. Charlie Kirk loved this phase of his life because it's the first time he had people look at him, like young people look at him with anything other than disdain, because this election cycle brought out like the memes again, and it was like one of those like, you know, because he's been boomer material forever. Charlie Kirk was stuck with the boomers, and this was like his big wave that brought him into like some younger crowds.
I truly believe he has and will continue to take thousands to heaven with him, and that he will make it as crowded as he devoted his life to make it. Thank you, TPS, Turning Point staff, Charlie's friends, and especially Erica and her children.
The Gadsden fucking thing on the wall. It's not really a flag. Seal of approval. Like when they support ICE, obviously not libertarians whatsoever.
By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that Erica has access to the Freedom emails, so freedom@charliekirk.com. She's reading them all the time as well, so please keep sending them. And you guys get emails.
We do. Molly and I get very different kinds of emails. We'll be talking through the day, and Molly will say, oh, can I read you the best email I've gotten? Dear Molly, you're wonderful and beautiful. You're such a shining light on a hill. And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful, Molly. My inbox looks very different. Dear Sean, you should die. Oh. That's like 95% of them. And then Molly's like, Sean, I don't know why you don't, respond to feedback more in your email. I'm like, well, Molly, I don't really know how to respond to that. Just no.
Well, I love that when during the memorial when you talked about how he read every email, responded to many of them.
Who reads the Federalist and then emails the editor-in-chief death threats?
You with people in the middle of the show.
But I love reading my email from viewers, listeners, readers, because it gives me insight into how people. So I have to live in Washington, D.C. You all are blessed not to live in Washington, D.C. And the environment there is just there's so much groupthink, and they hate what I'm saying. I love getting feedback from people because you get like really thoughtful responses usually. Sorry.
Cookie crumbled kind of differently for me over here.
Really thoughtful.
Dude, they're just a bunch of fucking rich Christian freaks, and they have access to these media outlets, and so they're just disseminating their bullshit. That's all this ever has been. It's just rich people with their agendas write this specific thing, write these opinions, try to change the culture so that we can, like, you're just lobbying groups of people to support your fucking ability to exploit them all the time. It's very ghoulish.
Except of course. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You have your fans too.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, you have a if you don't follow Sean's X account, you're missing out. It's pretty subdued and very mild, meek and mild.
I'm trying to be less subtle and nuanced. it's one thing I'm working on this year.
Sean lets it fly, and I think that's a really good lead up to I think the next story we're going to get to. Well, the first
Sean lets it fly. Cool, man. Meanwhile, I keep going fucking viral on Twitter. I need to shut the fuck up. I can't even have a single fucking opinion on this shit, or I just go mega viral every time. I'm getting called racial slurs again. People see me and they think it'll really affect that guy if I mistake him for black and then call him racial slurs. Some of these guys are like, you're buying likes on Twitter. I don't have a check mark or anything. I never would. I'm buying likes, but I don't have a check mark. I go viral naturally, baby. Peacemaker tweet made it to Facebook. Oh, yeah. Because I'm based and funny.